Irene, chances are what happened to you was something that just you needed to work out with you. I think other people needed to hear that story today. I think that's how it works. That's how God works. I remember this one occasion. We had church at the park. It was in Orville. And someone who was leading worship never had much of a problem with their back before. But all of a sudden, they were having a problem with their back. And they stood up and they said, I don't really have a problem with my back, but my back really hurts. And it hurts right down here. Is there somebody here that has a problem with their back? And someone said, yeah, I do. They said, can we pray for him? The person said, I've had problems for all these number of years. And they were talking about how, I'll be all right. I'll do prayer. It was, sometimes we don't want to get that close. We don't want people to minister to us. And they said, well, are you open to it? Well, yeah, you can pray if you want to. Some people laid hands on it, and they prayed right there. And the person's back problem instantly got released. They didn't have any pain anymore. And then the person started bending over, doing all sorts of stuff to almost make their back hurt to see if is this really so? I remember saying, I can't believe it. I mean, they didn't have the faith to believe that. I can't believe it. And they started bending and doing this. It was just, so sometimes, I mean, that was a learning experience for me at that one moment there. Sometimes some of the things that we go through are not for us. But we don't know that until we start sharing. Finding life in an unlikely place. Who doesn't like to win? I think one of the probably ultimate ways that you can offend people is to call them a loser. You might call me a liar, maybe call me a cheat, but call me a loser. There's a fascination in our culture for winning. Ask any competitive, red-blooded American if winning is everything. And his response will probably, well, winning might not be everything, but it certainly beats losing. Who wants to be a loser? We will do almost anything, compromise, almost anything, but anything except losing. Then the question is, what is a loser and what is a winner? What's really success? What does that look like? Interesting quote by Ravi Zacharias. He's an evangelist. He's from India. He was not raised as a Christian at all. Came to faith in Jesus. Had to disown his whole family. Very powerful speaker. He said success is more difficult to handle than failure. It's the old statement that, if you're going to be unhappy, you might as well be unhappy rich than unhappy poor. I've heard people say that. Well, at least I'm going to be unhappy. Might as well do it being filthy rich. What is success? I can tell you, if you have enough wins, I've had some wins in my life. I've had strings of wins. And you know what it's done to my heart? It's made my heart hard. I become insensitive. I don't have humility anymore. Here's an interesting quote that I found. Bill Hybels, he's a pastor in Willow Creek Community Church in South Barrington, Illinois. And he says, a few years ago, I had the opportunity to spend time with some well-known winners, professional athletes, best-selling authors, renowned business leaders, financial authorities, televangelists, even a few political leaders, all winners by anyone's definition. What surprised me about my interaction with many of these celebrated winners was that their victories had not seemed to satiate their desire to be winners. On the contrary, I came to understand that in many cases, their victories had merely whetted their appetite to continue to succeed, no matter what the cost. It seemed it had only fueled their desire to continue to pay the price for winning. And in many cases, I discovered the single greatest drive in their lives was to keep winning every time out, no matter what, no matter who got hurt, no matter how God or anyone else felt about it. There was a drivenness among many of those celebrated winners. Inside the family of God and outside, I could barely distinguish a difference. To make matters worse, I perceived the long strings of victory had puffed up some of these people to the point where many of them carried a not so carefully concealed disdain towards people around them who would lose a few times now and then. And frightfully few of these well-known winners demonstrated any kind of humility or meekness to God. Who wants to lose? Well, here's an interesting quote that I found. It's actor Nick Nolte. He was asked, GQ magazine asked him about what's the best advice that he has to offer. Interesting. He says, this is going to sound strange, but my best advice is to accept losing. It's the grandest thing you can do. We as a culture think it's a terrible thing to lose, but it's only through losing that we grow. We don't grow by winning. But our culture glorifies winning, so to accept losing is the opposite of everything we're taught. Sometimes our greatest losses can become our most profound teachers. I'm not saying you should strive to lose or that you have to lose all the time. It's great to win. But a fair amount of losing is what makes us progress as people. You learn acceptance and humility, and you learn how to find happiness. Interesting. Get in groups of 2 and 3. Ask each other, what I've learned from success is what I've learned from failure. What I've learned from success is what? What I've learned from failure. Yeah, this is breaking the rule.